You don't ask for help. Not because you're strong, but because somewhere in your life, needing people stopped feeling safe. And once your brain learns that lesson, it never forgets it.
If asking for help makes you uncomfortable, if depending on others feels risky, if you'd rather struggle alone than reach out, this video isn't about people like you. It's about you. You probably see yourself as independent, responsible, self-sufficient. You don't like relying on anyone, and when people offer help, you politely decline. I've got it. I'll manage. Don't worry about me. You say these things automatically, not because you are okay, but because you've trained yourself to be. This didn't come from confidence. It came from experience. At some point in your life, usually early, you learned a painful pattern. When you needed support, it wasn't there. Maybe no one showed up. Maybe your feelings were minimized. Maybe asking for help made things worse. And your mind did what all human minds do. It adapted. It said, don't rely on anyone. Handle it yourself. Depending on people is dangerous. This is important to understand. Your independence wasn't a choice. It was a solution, a psychological workaround. When connection didn't feel safe, control became safety. When vulnerability felt risky, self-reliance felt smart. And over time, survival started to look like strength. Here's the part most people miss. Asking for help doesn't just feel inconvenient to you, it feels threatening. Because help requires trust, and trust means giving up control. And giving up control once hurt you. So now your nervous system reacts before your logic does. Your body tightens, your chest closes, your instincts say, no, I've got this, alone. Over time, independence stopped being a behavior. It became your identity. You're the strong one, the reliable one, the one who doesn't need much. And once strength becomes your identity, asking for help feels like failure. Not because it is, but because it threatens who you think you are. The cost of this pattern is quiet. No one notices it at first. You function, you perform, you survive. But slowly, something disappears. Support. Because people assume you're fine. You never ask. So no one offers. And you end up carrying everything alone, silently. This is how emotional isolation forms. Not because you're antisocial, but because you never let yourself need anyone. And humans bond through need, through shared weight, through mutual support. When you remove that, connection becomes shallow, and loneliness sets in, even when you're not alone. Here's the truth most people never hear. Hyper-independence is not confidence. It's a trauma-adapted nervous system. A system that learned, I'm safer when I need no one. That belief kept you alive, but it also keeps you distant. You didn't choose this pattern, you grew into it. It was shaped by circumstances, not character. And recognizing that matters, because shame keeps patterns locked in place. Understanding loosens them. Learning to ask for help isn't about becoming dependent. It's about becoming flexible, strong enough to stand alone, but safe enough to lean when needed. And that doesn't start with trusting others. It starts with questioning the rule you've been living by. I have to do everything myself. Sometimes growth doesn't look like change. It looks like awareness, like noticing when your instinct to do it alone activates, and gently asking yourself, is this strength? Or is this an old survival reflex? That question alone begins to shift everything. The problem is, this survival reflex is automatic. You don't sit down and decide to push people away. It happens faster than thought. Someone offers help, and before you even process it, you say no. Not because you checked in with yourself, but because your nervous system already decided. Independence became your default setting. When you've been let down enough times, your body learns before your mind does. So even when help is genuine, even when the person in front of you is safe, your chest tightens, your breathing changes, and something inside you says, "Don't risk it." This is why logic doesn't work here. You can understand all the psychology in the world, but your body is still living in an older story. From the outside, people misunderstand you. They think you're confident. They think you're emotionally strong. They think you don't need much. But what they don't see is how much effort it takes to carry everything alone. Strength, when it's forced, is exhausting. Over time, something subtle happens. People stop offering. Not because they don't care, but because you trained them not to. You always say you're fine. You always manage. You always handle it. And eventually, the world believes you. This is how hyper-independence quietly creates loneliness, without anyone doing anything wrong. This is the trap. You don't ask for help because no one offers, and no one offers because you never ask. So the belief gets reinforced. See, I really am on my own. What started as protection, people love to say, just open up. But that advice is useless, because opening up feels dangerous when your nervous system learned that vulnerability comes with consequences. You don't heal this by forcing yourself to suddenly depend on others. That only creates more resistance. Slowly becomes confirmation. The real first step is much smaller. It's noticing the moment you automatically choose to do it alone. Not judging it, not fixing it, just noticing. Real strength isn't never needing anyone. Real strength is choice. Being able to stand on your own without being afraid to lean. Independence isn't the problem. Rigidity is. You don't need to change overnight. You don't need to suddenly trust everyone. You don't need to become vulnerable with the wrong people. You just need to stop confusing survival with identity. What protected you once doesn't have to define you forever. When independence becomes the only option, it stops being strength. Because awareness interrupts patterns, and interruption creates space. If you've lived your life believing you have to carry everything alone, it makes sense. That belief didn't come from weakness, it came from adaptation. And the moment you recognize that, the pattern loosens. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly.
There's also a quiet conversation happening inside you. Every time you struggle alone, a part of you tells you, "At least I didn't need anyone." And that thought brings relief, not because the situation improved, but because your pride stayed intact. You confuse emotional safety with emotional distance. Distance feels calm. Distance feels controlled, even when it hurts. This is why people tell you to open up, and you nod, but nothing changes. Because opening up would mean letting go of the one thing that has always protected you. Control became your comfort. When you handle everything yourself, nothing is unpredictable. No one can disappoint you. No one can misunderstand you. No one can leave you at the moment you're exposed. But comfort is not connection. And a life built only on control slowly becomes very small. Depending on someone means accepting uncertainty. It means admitting, "I don't have this handled." For most people, that admission feels neutral. For you, it feels dangerous. It feels like exposure, like standing unprotected in a place where you once got hurt. So your system resists, not because you're stubborn, but because it's afraid. The loneliness you feel isn't obvious. It doesn't look like desperation. It doesn't look like neediness. It looks like competence. You're surrounded by people, yet no one truly knows how much weight you carry alone. And because you seem strong, no one checks in deeply. This is the cruelty of hyper-independence. It hides pain behind capability. You didn't wake up one day and decide to live this way. You were trained by silence, trained by absence, trained by having to grow up too early. When support was unreliable, self-reliance became mandatory, and children who learn this lesson early become adults who struggle quietly. Over time, your nervous system learned a rule: if I don't need anyone, I can't be disappointed. That rule kept you safe once, but now it keeps you distant. You don't ask for help, not because you don't want connection, but because connection feels unpredictable, and unpredictability once came with pain. So maybe the question isn't, why can't I ask for help? Maybe the real question is, what happened that made me stop believing help would be there? That question doesn't demand change. It doesn't force vulnerability. It doesn't pressure you. It invites understanding. And understanding is safer than forcing yourself to suddenly trust. You don't heal this by becoming dependent. You heal it by becoming flexible, by allowing yourself to choose support instead of rejecting it automatically. Strength isn't doing everything alone. Strength is knowing you don't have to. And if this video feels uncomfortably accurate, that's not coincidence. It means you recognized something real. And recognition is where change actually begins. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, in moments where you pause instead of automatically saying, "I'll handle it alone."
There's also a quieter layer beneath all of this, a layer most people never notice. It's the part of you that feels slightly irritated when someone offers help. Not angry, just uncomfortable. Because help feels like interference, like someone stepping into a system you've spent years perfecting. You know how to survive. You know how to manage. You know how to carry things quietly. And when someone tries to help, it feels like they're questioning that. So you pull back, not aggressively, politely. You smile, you thank them, and you say you're fine. But inside, something tightens. That tightening is important. It's your nervous system remembering a time when relying on others led to disappointment, or embarrassment, or being let down when you were already vulnerable. So now, doing everything alone feels cleaner. No expectations, no waiting, no hoping someone will show up. Just you and your ability to endure. Endurance became your language. You learned to tolerate stress instead of sharing it. You learned to normalize exhaustion, to call it responsibility, to call it maturity, to call it strength. But endurance is not the same as safety, and the body knows the difference, even when the mind doesn't. This is why rest feels unfamiliar to you, why slowing down makes you restless, why stillness feels uncomfortable. Because when you stop, there's no distraction, and when there's no distraction, you feel how tired you actually are. So you stay busy, you stay capable, you stay functional. You convince yourself you're doing well because things aren't falling apart. But surviving without falling apart is not the same as living supported. Another thing people don't talk about is how hyper-independence affects closeness. You might crave deep connection, but when it starts forming, you instinctively limit it. You share enough to seem open, but not enough to feel exposed. You let people see your thoughts, but not your needs, because needs are dangerous. Needs once went unmet, so now you meet them yourself. And you become very good at it. So good that people stop asking if you're okay. They assume you are. You always are. This is how you end up being everyone's support while quietly having none of your own. And that imbalance creates a very specific kind of loneliness. Not the loneliness of being alone, but the loneliness of being unseen. Seen as strong, seen as capable, seen as the one who's always fine.
but not seen as a human who also gets tired. What makes this pattern difficult to break is that it worked. It protected you. It kept you functioning. It helped you survive environments where support was inconsistent or absent. So part of you is loyal to it. Letting go of hyper-independence can feel like betrayal, as if you're abandoning the version of yourself that got you through hard years. This is why forcing change doesn't work. You don't need to get rid of this part. You need to understand it, to see it not as a flaw, but an adaptation, an intelligent response to unreliable connection. And when you see it that way, something softens. You stop judging yourself for struggling alone. You stop calling yourself broken for finding it hard to ask for help. You realize nothing is wrong with you. Something happened to you. And that distinction matters, because healing doesn't begin with pushing yourself to be different. It begins with compassion for why you became this way. Slowly, very slowly, you might notice moments where you don't immediately say no. Moments where you pause, where you consider, where you let someone carry a small piece of the weight. Not everything, just a little. And even that will feel unfamiliar, uncomfortable, awkward, vulnerable. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's new. Strength isn't abandoning independence, it's adding choice to it. Being able to stand alone without being trapped there. If you've lived your life believing you have to handle everything yourself, that belief makes sense. It came from experience, from repetition, from necessity. But beliefs built for survival don't always serve growth. And realizing that is not weakness, it's awareness. And awareness, quietly, changes how you relate to yourself and to others. Not all at once, not dramatically, but in subtle moments where you notice the urge to say, "I'll handle it alone." And instead, you pause.